Life often feels like a storm, unpredictable and relentless. This is the story of Daniel, a man who found himself caught in the storm of his fears, but chose to face it head-on. His journey shows that courage is not the absence of fear, but the determination to push forward despite it. Daniel was a quiet, reserved man in his early 30s, known by his friends and family as a talented writer who rarely shared his work. He had spent years crafting stories, dreaming of one day becoming a published author, but fear held him back. Fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of not being good enough. His manuscript, a novel he had been working on for 5 years, lay untouched in his desk drawer, hidden from the world. He would often imagine how people would mock his writing, or how publishers would reject him outright. These thoughts kept him paralyzed, and instead of taking a step forward, he buried himself in his day job as an accountant, telling himself that writing was just a hobby, nothing more. One rainy evening, Daniel attended a small gathering at a local bookstore. There, he met Sarah, an enthusiastic young woman who had just published her first novel. Sarah spoke passionately about her journey, how she faced countless rejections, doubted herself, but never gave up. Daniel was captivated by her story, and after the event, he found the courage to approach her and share his own struggle. Sarah looked him in the eye and said, "Every writer fears failure, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the willingness to face that fear. You have to put yourself out there, Daniel. Start small, but start somewhere." Those words echoed in his mind. That night, for the first time in years, Daniel opened his desk drawer, took out his manuscript, and began to read. He saw flaws, areas for improvement, but he also saw potential. For the first time, he felt a flicker of hope. Determined to overcome his fear, Daniel decided to take a small step. He found an online writing community where writers shared their stories and gave feedback to one another. His heart raced as he prepared to upload the first chapter of his novel. Doubt filled his mind, but he reminded himself of Sarah's words, "Start somewhere." With a deep breath, he clicked submit. Then came the waiting. Days felt like weeks as he nervously checked for comments. When they finally came, they weren't all positive. Some readers praised his imagination, while others pointed out inconsistencies in his plot. One harsh comment cut deep, saying his writing was amateurish. Daniel felt his fear returning, the urge to hide again. But this time, he made a different choice. Instead of running from criticism, he embraced it. He replied to comments, thanked people for their honesty, and asked for specific suggestions on how to improve. To his surprise, the community responded with genuine advice and encouragement. Over the next several months, Daniel pushed himself to write more, share more, and learn from every piece of feedback he received. He attended workshops, read books on writing, and even reached out to Sarah for guidance. She became a mentor of sorts, helping him navigate the ups and downs of his creative journey. He faced many moments of doubt. Rejections from publishers piled up, and self-criticism often crept in. But every time he felt like giving up, he remembered the storm analogy. That storms don't last forever, and neither does fear. He knew he was growing stronger with every challenge. One day, Daniel received an unexpected email from a small publisher who had come across his work in the writing community. They were interested in his novel, but with a condition. He needed to revise the story to align with their vision. For a moment, fear gripped him again. Fear of change, of not being good enough. But this time, he faced it head-on. He spent weeks rewriting, refining, and improving his manuscript. When he finally submitted the revised version, he was met with praise and ultimately a contract to publish his novel. Daniel's book was published to modest success. It wasn't a bestseller, but it was his. A testament to his courage to face his fears and continue writing despite the odds. He began receiving messages from readers who found inspiration in his story, who saw themselves in his struggle. With each message, Daniel felt his confidence grow. He realized that his fear of failure had been the biggest obstacle, not the criticism or rejection. He was already working on his next novel, knowing that no matter what storms he faced, he had the strength to weather them. Daniel's journey reminds us that fear is a powerful force, but so is courage. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward growth. Remember, the storms will pass, but what remains is the strength you gain from facing them.